Okay, guys, I'm here for episode 8 of WCWtober, the review series where I look at all the WCW Halloween Havoc events for the first half of the month of October. The second half will be reviews of random Halloween-related movies or TV episodes of TV shows or stuff like that for the second half of the month. Capped off by the review of the Power Rangers Dino Charge Halloween special on Halloween itself. So, today as we revisit WCW in WCWtober, we look at the first WCW of the NWO era, or NWO angle, which is almost like the angle that never ended in WCW because it didn't, it kept getting rehashed. In fact, in 1998, it was being rehashed by not just both NWO factions, but all the Latino factions. But all the Latinos in the WCW had an NWO faction. In fact, 98 WCW could have just been called Faction Wars, because almost everyone was in some kind of a faction in that year anyway. But that's for an entirely another video. Halloween Havoc 1996 also started a tradition that stayed of Halloween Havoc until the end, until WCW went out of business. That from 1996 onward, we are in Las Vegas, Nevada for Halloween Havoc. So, this took place October the 26th, 1996 from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have 8 matches on this card, so we have a 40 maximum star rating. We open up with a WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Dean Malenko, in what is the best match on this show. At least that's my opinion. This is a 3.5 star match. Malenko and Mysterio always had really good matches. This is no exception. Now, Rey would have probably his best WCW match the very next year at Halloween Havoc, but that's for the next episode of WCWtober. Rey wrestled a traditional cruiserweight style, whereas Malenko wrestled a more technical style, mixed with some traditional cruiserweight stuff. But that's what made Malenko a very unique cruiserweight. So his matches are always more different than, normal cruiserweight action. Malenko kicks out of Rey's finishing move, which was the first time that had happened. There's a spot where they're both on the top rope and they both get knocked to the floor. And then Malenko uses a top rope gut wrench power bomb to defeat Rey Mysterio and win the Cruiserweight Championship for what I believe was the second time here. Like I said, good match, 3.5 stars. Best match on the show. So, yeah, very good match. So then we get Eddie Guerrero versus Diamond Dallas Page for the Battle Bowl Championship ring. That Eddie Guerrero technically has, but has never had because no one knows where the ring was, or at least that was a storyline of it. This is a 2.5 star match. Could have been better than it was, but it's not bad for what it is. Like I said, it could have been better, but for what it is, it's not horrible or anything. Diamond Dallas Page wins with a diamond cutter and gets the ring that Nick Patrick apparently had in his pocket. Yeah, because this is also the height of the evil Nick Patrick angle had started here, too. So, or at least had started around this time in 1996. 2.5 stars. Okay match. Eddie and DDP would meet again at Starrcade in what I think is a better match of Starrcade of 96. But I reviewed that in my Starrcade 1996 review. Like I said, 2.5 stars. Okay match. So then we get Jeff Jarrett versus the Giant. Jeff Jarrett is filling in for Ric Flair, who has a shoulder injury, and then the Giant had stolen the U.S. Championship. So this is a non-title match. Jarrett also says that the Giant will not choke slam him, which is a big part of the story of this match. Jarrett wrestled a traditional big guy, small guy situation where the Giant's doing his traditional power stuff. Finishing sequences, they end up on the floor. Jarrett puts the figure 4 on the floor, which is kind of pointless, because even if Giant submitted, you wouldn't win the match out there. Giant grabs Jarrett's throat for the chokeslam like he did with Ric Flair when he won the title in '96. Ric Flair, who's in Jarrett's corner, comes over and low blows the Giant, which withdraws the disqualification, which actually is a good call by Nick Patrick, actually, because that is flagrant interference. Now, granted, Giant is a member of the NWO here, so it's to help the NWO, but it is otherwise a good call anyway, because that is flagrant outside interference. That's not a call the announcers are that angry with, so that Nick Patrick did. They get angrier in the next match, but this one they seem to be okay with because they understand that it was vagrant interference. So our next match is Chris Jericho versus Syxx. In what is traditionally what Jericho and Waltman had. It's a 2-star match. Jarrett and Giant, by the way, is 1.5 stars. This is a 2-star match. It's basically what you would see from him in the WWE. The finish is Syxx kicks Jericho with a spin wheel kick, gets a cover and a fast 1, 2, 3. And Nick Patrick would always count slow for Jericho. This led to Chris Jericho versus Nick Patrick at World War III of 1996 in the one arm tied behind my back match, where Chris Jericho took on Nick Patrick with one arm tied behind his back at World War III of that year. So, 2 stars, nothing special of a match, but nothing bad either. So then we get Lex Luger versus Arn Anderson. This stems from Fall Brawl, where Luger was the guy that the NWO beat on to win War Games. And Anderson and Flair, who in the storyline originally wanted to be the Horsemen, but Luger and Sting interjected themselves as of the people in the ring, of all the Horsemen plus Luger and Sting, Flair, Anderson, Luger, and Sting were the only 4 that felt War Games. But I should probably explain that more if I ever review Fall Brawl 96. But that's what led to this. I also think this is the match that Arn Anderson legitimately injured his back in that would ultimately lead to his retirement. I believe this match that happens in. I could be wrong. And if I am, you can put it in the comments section, and I would appreciate it if I'm wrong. Like I said, I think it is, but I could be wrong, and if I am, feel free to correct me in the comments. This is an okay match. It's 2 stars. Luger wears Anderson out of a chair on his back and then puts him in the torture rack, wins the match. So then we get Chris Benoit and Steve McMichael versus the Faces of Fear. 1.5-star tag match. Nothing special. The Horsemen win. And then the Dungeon of Doom beat up on Benoit and McMichael, using the Halliburton briefcase to take out Mongo, and then they beat up Benoit. This ultimately was a continuation of the whole Chris Benoit, Kevin Sullivan thing that did not end until Bash at the Beach 1997. So 1.5 stars. Not a bad tag match, but certainly nothing special. So then we get the WCW World Tag Team Championship match. Harlem Heat versus the Outsiders. A 2-star match. This match is going to be downloadable content along with everyone involved in it for W2K16, so you can relive it. I don't really think it's the best match Nash ever had, though, so I would have probably wanted a match from the WWE for Nash as part of that showcase. But what do I know? And this match isn't that good. It's slightly below average. You know, Harlem Heat have Colonel Parker and Sherri out with them. Colonel Parker tries to help Harlem Heat, but Nash or Hall or one of the Outsiders intimidates him, and he drops this cane in the ring, and the Outsiders use it to win the WCW World Tag Team Championships. Now, I don't know if that's going to mean that Colonel Parker is going to be in 2K16 too with that showcase as a manager. I don't really know. I know he's there for the physical match, but whether he's there for the 2K16 edition of the match will be a different story. 2 stars, nothing really special. So then we get the WCW World Heavyweight Championship match. Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man Randy Savage. A 1-star match that has a lot of stalling from Hulk Hogan in it. Referee Randy Anderson gets bumped. Mark Curtis comes out, takes Anderson to the back, and then Nick Patrick becomes the referee. Savage has Hogan pinned, but Nick Patrick doesn't count. Savage beats him up. He knocks out Hogan. Savage goes up for the big elbow, gets knocked down by DiBiase. Then the Giant, who had been banned from the ringside, comes out, chokeslams Savage, rolls Hogan on top, and Nick Patrick makes the counts to 3 and gives Hogan the win. But arguably, this show is remembered for the actual finishing sequence, which I don't know what. I'm sure the appearance was planned, but not everything said was planned. Because what this show is mainly remembered for is at the very end of it, Roddy Piper comes out and gives a shoot interview and gives a shoot promo on Hogan, and it ultimately sets up the match at Starrcade of 1996. Like I said, I'm pretty sure everything was planned in, and then this whole thing was planned in it. But there was probably some more stuff said on this after that went off the air, because it went off the air with Piper still talking. That's really all this show is most memorable for. It gets 13 out of the possible 40 stars, which would be a D+, because to be a C-, you would need to be at least at 15 or 16. Since 20 would be a C rating, 20 stars out of 40 would be a C rating. So this gets a D+. So it's about as good as 1995's is. But WCW had not reached its height yet. So it reached its height the next year, and the next edition of episode WCWtober will be Halloween Havoc 1997, which, if I have no problem or I'm not busy, will hopefully be uploaded Wednesday. But if I don't, it'll be uploaded on Thursday. So it'll be uploaded between Wednesday and Thursday. And that's got one of the best Halloween Havoc matches on it, and that match is predominantly the reason I chose to do WCWtober, is to talk about that one particular match. So, this will be the WCWtober playlist. If you like the video, like button is down there, subscribe button is down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.